I'm Julieann Hartman, and welcome to The Journey. Today we have a very special show for you. As you can see that this beautiful girl has been on the show before. This is Joelle Hussey. Hello, Joelle.
Hello, Julieann.
And she's come back because she has got a testimony that we absolutely had to have you hear so that it will encourage you and empower you to be able to take it for yourself as well, to see what God has done for her. So the last time we saw you, I don't even know when that was, a couple months back, maybe even a year ago.
I think it was over a year ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
and your testimony was about anxiety, fear, just all the stuff that literally crippled you, paralyzed you. Mm-hmm. So that is gone.
Yes.
So now tell us what happened. I believe it was in January.
Yes, it was in January, actually. We were at Andrew Wommack's Phoenix Gospel Truth Seminar. And I noticed on the final day that I was trying to take some pictures and it was hard to smile. And I thought, what a weird situation. This will obviously go away.
And I do remember we were sitting at the airport in Phoenix and you said, do you think there's something wrong with my smile? I feel like I can't smile real good. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I think your smile is perfect because she's so beautiful. Everything on Joelle is perfect as far as I'm concerned, but go ahead.
Thank you. So it started as a smiling issue, and then as a few weeks went by, I started to notice that my speech was becoming a little bit slurred. So I was trying to discuss things with people, and it sounded like I was hard of hearing. I'm not sure how else to describe it other than that, because I couldn't get the words out quite right, and the strength in my mouth muscles was going.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So let me ask you a question before we keep going, because what is going through your mind at that moment? And how did you fight the negative? Because the negative thoughts, because we know when speech is slurred and those kind of things, we know too much about medical problems. And so how did you deal with that?
So I think that I was frustrated because I follow healing journeys today. I've already walked through my own healing journey. I was frustrated because I didn't think this thing should be touching me.
Right.
So,
and you're right.
It shouldn't have been touching.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So I was frustrated, but I wanted to avoid the medical profession because I was concerned what would be spoken over me.
Right.
So I think that's kind of what was going on at the time, but I also didn't know if I went to a medical professional what to say. Like, my smile is funny, my speech is a little bit slurred, so I didn't know how to handle it, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in that moment, like, what did you do? Did you go to the Lord right away and say, what the heck is going on? What scripture did you stand on? What did you do?
I mean, we always stand on, obviously death and life are the power of the tongue, so I wouldn't speak anything negative over myself. Right. But on top of that, it was, on 1 Peter 2:24, that, Jesus had already paid for my sickness on the cross. So, I was praying that over myself, but I was getting into the cycle of frustration because it wasn't leaving me.
Okay. Now, question, have you ever, besides the fear and anxiety, which that is enough, right? To try to mess with anybody, did you ever have any kind of sickness where, that you had to fight spiritually?
No.
Okay, so this is really your first time. Because, the fear and anxiety, that becomes like a condition almost.
Yeah.
This now is like something that just, tried to hit you suddenly.
Yes.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I don't know if you remember, but my left eye started to shut.
Right.
And it was hard to keep it open, which then became a problem driving, doing all sorts of things. And then finally the hardest thing was that a wave of exhaustion hit my body that it was hard to describe. So.
And she has 3 kids.
Yeah.
Of course, a husband, an amazing husband. And so she juggles a lot anyway. We're a lot alike. And so, but she's way better than me. She had 3. I have only had 2 kids. So, so you do a lot anyway. So I'm sure there are times you're like, oh, I'm just really tired because, So when did you finally go, okay, this is more than just being tired?
So at the end of March, we went to a fundraiser for the kids' school. And while I was there, I have the pictures to prove it, but between my smile and my left eye, I did not look right. So I was March 29th, and I had had enough at that point. That was the day.
Okay, so now did anybody start noticing this?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
In fact, that evening, because it was a large event, there were about 200 people there. And I know all of them personally because it's at my children's school. So they were coming up to me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yes.
so what did you do with that? Because that sometimes is worse than even the bad doctor's report.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. And there are tons of people that I'm friendly with that are beautiful Christians, but you don't know how to positively walk me through that situation. Right. So, I just said, we're walking through something. I'm going to get through this. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but, we will figure this out.
And now, did people come and offer you suggestions on what was wrong with you?
Yeah. Yes.
What did you do with those? Because you know what? That is where it's like this dart that just gets lodged in your heart because people are saying, well, you look like you have this and you have that and you have this. And, if you do have that, my mother died of that. And you're like, stop it.
Yeah. A lot of people diagnosed me with Bell's palsy because of my left eye. And
which actually that would have been better than what actually ended up happening.
Exactly. It would have been. I was like, great.
Yeah.
Let's just walk through that. But so that was a lot of what was spoken over me. And then a few people came to me and said, "Oh, you should go see my acupuncture person because this woman dealt with the exact same thing you're dealing with, and you can do X, Y, and Z." And I know it comes from a beautiful place because they felt badly for me.
Yeah. And they love you.
And they love me. And I looked funny. I did. So I didn't look like myself. I didn't look like the way the Lord made me, and I didn't feel like myself, and I couldn't even, it was hard to talk. Like it was exhausting.
I was going to say, it seemed like it was exhausting because when your tongue just wasn't working, you had to really make it work.
I did.
Yeah.
And it would get so, in a few sentences, it would be so hard to speak those words that I just was trying to figure out how to consolidate my statements. So I said as little as possible. Yeah.
And let me tell you, so Joelle actually works for us. We have our cartoon called The Garden. It's a children's Christian cartoon. It's amazing.
Yes.
And so she's our production manager. And so I will tell you, this girl never missed one day of work. Not one day. She was on every meeting. She did exactly what we need her to do. She works kind of sporadic hours because she has the kids. And then she's able to do things, in between dropping off and picking up and while they're at school and when they go to bed. But she never missed a beat, no matter how exhausted she was. And I hope it wasn't because we were so demanding. No. Because honestly, but we're not going to coddle it and tell her that, well, you're not well, so just go home and do, we let her do, we said, Joelle, you know what you need to do, so you go do. If you need help, you tell us. And really, that's what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're walking through something too, I think it's so healthy to have a purpose. And so my purpose is my family, my husband, my kids. The garden is so important to me. The church that we go to is so important to me. I love being able to tell people my story of walking through anxiety and depression, and that it is a choice and you can come out of it.
Yes.
So all the idea that these things were in my future were so helpful to walk me through that time.
Yeah. I didn't even know Joelle could sing. And we went to a worship night at her church, and there she is singing through that whole thing too. Yeah. She had all the stuff going on with her tongue and her eye, but she still sang like 2 or 3 worship songs, and she's got an amazing voice. We never knew this about her. Anyway, go on.
I do love to sing, and I'm always aspiring to be as amazing as your daughter, Sophia. So,
so now what happened? Go ahead and.
So after March 29th, I finally said, okay, I want to figure out what in the world is going on. So my husband called a friend and got me in to see a neurologist in Los Angeles. And he ended up being, I feel like God was involved in all of the medical profession. I want to say that ahead. I feel like God orchestrated the people that I would see because they were so positive, and that was such an important thing for me.
Yeah.
To see.
And
the
we usually don't
positivity.
hear that. We usually hear it's the doom and gloom, like,
Yeah.
we'll get your affairs in order. But this was a different
It was
situation.
a very different situation. So I saw a wonderful man in LA, and he was not worried at all. He said, it looks what you're dealing with is something called myasthenia gravis.
God,
Yeah.
how do you even say that?
I-
Myasthenial.
Well, and when I couldn't speak, trying to say that was hysterical. He said it's myasthenia gravis, and it tends to affect the face. And you have an organ in your body called the thymus, and it's excreting antibodies that are fighting your muscles. Basically, is the way it was explained to me, because I'm not a scientist, I'm not from the medical profession.
Right.
I was like, okay, that sounds reasonable. I don't really know what the details were other than that. So he said, but sometimes with this, we'll find on the thymus there is a cyst. And almost 100% of the time, the cysts are benign. And what we can do is we can run a scan to see if there's something on it. And if there is, then we can do an operation, we can let it live there, or whatever you'd like to do, because they tend to be benign. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
But we will figure out a way to help you manage it, basically, is how it was presented to me.
Okay, so we'll just call it MG. So, right?
That's actually what people call it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So it was just a thing, like almost kind of like a Bell's palsy, almost. But they were just going to go in and remove a cyst, and that,
Yep.
or to see if there was anything there.
Yep.
And so, did you feel like there was anything in your body that shouldn't have been there?
I think I was unsure, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't think something should be there.
Right.
But because the issues I was going through were so, like, they actually progressively got worse. Over, like, in January, it was like, okay, I have a funny smile, but by March, my face looked just funky and I
Yeah.
could barely speak. So it was progressively getting worse. So I was like, something is clearly not right on the inside of me. I didn't expect it to be malignant, I guess is the way.
Okay.
But I said, if there's something there, I don't expect it to be a big deal. I think we can,
Right.
take care of this, pray for it. Obviously, Julieann or Butch can lay hands on me and this thing will
Right.
go away. So.
And we did, and she came to our Bible study every Wednesday night. No matter how exhausted she was there, and then her husband joined her as well, many times. And we just kept, every time we saw Joelle, we would lay hands on her, we would pray for her. Anytime I would address her on a text message, I was always telling her that she was healed. And not that she even needed that, because I know she knows that. But there's something about that, to have a community around you, and also
Yes.
her church
Yes.
as well. Their pastors, Cody and Tertia, are amazing people. So everybody around her was constantly like just smothering you with,
Yeah.
no, you're healed by the stripes of Jesus. That is the truth. Anything else is a lie, but the truth is that you're already healed.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go on.
So after that, they ran a scan and they found something.
Okay.
And he immediately put me in touch with a thoracic surgeon in Santa Monica, who looked at the scan and said, it doesn't look like something that's a massively big deal, but it is there. And if you'd like improvement in your quality of life, we think that removing it will cause the issues
Right.
to go away.
Okay.
And I was very eager to have those things go away.
Right.
I love Mike Hoesch's testimony.
Yes.
It's incredible. But I perhaps was less patient. Couldn't wait for it to go.
He's a very patient
He's
man.
a very patient man. And I had been so positively, I had such a positive experience with the neurology team that I had worked with, and that they were so optimistic that they said, you are going to live a very long life. This is not going to affect you. And then they put me in touch with a surgeon who basically was like, I don't like to do surgeries that cut very much, is basically what he said. I would like to be as less invasive as possible, and I've developed a type of surgery where we can go in through the side of your body right here, and we'll use cameras, because the thymus sits right here.
Okay,
So
I was
it
wondering where it
yes,
is,
it
yeah.
sits right here in between your heart and your lungs.
What do you need your thymus for?
My understanding is that you need it when you're young. It helps you grow. And then it lays dormant from about 16, 17 years old. But it was very big when we were young. It's full of T cells, and they help you grow, and then it gets very, very small and kind of
who needs a thymus anyway, right?
Exactly. So we, after praying with Lloyd, and Lloyd is my husband, and kind of walking through the process, we felt that having him they actually removed the thymus with the cyst on it because it is no longer necessary. Okay. So it's, I guess, the appendix of your upper body.
Exactly.
So on July 21st, we had scheduled a surgery that morning, and he went in with the intention of removing the thymus. And then I woke up and had a different situation ahead of me.
Okay.
So
what was that situation? I know that you guys are probably going, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? But you know what I love? That no matter what the situation was, no matter what she was woken up to, it didn't change her faith. It did not change what she believes. Remember, her faith is just trusting the Lord. That's what we do. Our faith is Jesus, right? There's nothing else but that. And so that's where her faith is, was, will always be. And that's where we've got to stay no matter what happens. So you wake up and what happened?
So when I woke up, it was fuzzy. And I said, Lloyd, what happened? Because he was in the room with me. And he said, the doctor will come in and see us in a little bit. And so a few hours later, my surgeon walked in, and he said, when we were in there, we saw that what was on your thymus, it was very hard. I couldn't actually get it to move, and it looks like it's been there for many years. And
wait, what? Like, when they say hard, is it like?
So it had calcified.
Is it like I don't know. I don't even know what to explain. Like
a golf ball.
Oh, so it was like some, okay.
Yes, okay. It was very hard. So he said typically what happens is they get in there and it's just kind of gooey. And that means it's just been accumulating recently.
Right. Okay.
But he said when he got in there, he actually couldn't get it to move. It was so hard. So and then when he was in there, he saw with the cameras that it had attached to, the words were, they had firmly attached to my heart and my aortic nerve.
Oh my God.
So he had called Lloyd mid-surgery and said, I cannot safely remove this just with cameras.
Right.
I'm going to need to go in through her sternum, through the center of her body,
okay.
In order to safely remove it.
So what was Lloyd going through you don't usually want to get that phone call during surgery.
Yes.
So what happened what happened to Lloyd when he got that phone call?
Lloyd had a hard time. I didn't actually know this until he told me on our anniversary in December.
Oh.
So it was several months post-surgery. He told me that he had received the call from the doctor about 4 hours into my surgery, and I think he got upset. He has a sister who's a physician on the East Coast, and he called her and told her what the doctor had told her, because he had said, it's much more serious than we thought it was.
Right.
I'm gonna need to open up her sternum. Can I do it right now? And thankfully, Lloyd at that time said we should probably give her a heads up before she wakes up.
So they would have done it right then?
They would have done it right then.
Wow.
Because Lloyd was the person that could make those calls for me while I was under.
Okay.
So, but he said, please don't. I want to wake her up. I want her to hear what you have to say. And he said, in addition to that, she will probably need some adjunctive care.
Right.
So he didn't say anything specific, but he said I would probably, it was that serious.
And what is adjunctive care?
That meant either chemotherapy or radiation.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, did she or didn't she do that? We're going to end the show right now because you're going to have to come back next week and find out exactly what happened. But if you look at her right now, you can see that she is completely healed.
Yep.
And set free from all of these things that try to mess with her body. So we will see you guys next time. Joelle is an amazing person. I'm so glad that you've had many opportunities to meet her. And I just want you to know that the reason why she's giving this testimony is really because she wants to help you be set free from all the fear and anxiety that can come along with sickness and disease.
Yeah.
And that is, it just couples together. It gets married immediately. bad report, sick, immediately, anxiety, fear, all of that stuff, just debilitating kind of fear, paralyzing fear. So you guys are awesome. I love you so much. I know that this is our first show after the new year, 2023. And we've got some really great things planned for you. Very amazing stories that are going to be coming up. And so I really am so thankful that you guys are always here watching. And I love your comments. So make sure that you keep sending us your comments. You can also send in your prayer requests, to our email address. And we just are so thankful for you. So go on healingjourneystoday.com and check out everything that we have available to you. All of our teachers write a monthly newsletter so that you can be up on everything. And then Sophia puts it all together and gives you all the details of what's happening. We thank you so much for joining us. We know this year is going to be awesome. And you are a healed person. Amen. Please stand on that truth. Don't stand on anything else, but by his stripes, I am healed. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.